Welcome back. Today we're reviewing a brand new knife, and it's not just brand new to me. It's only been on the market for about 10 days as far as available for retail. You could pre-order it on Blade HQ for a little while. But anyway, that is the Civivi Qubit. This knife came out May 4th, if I'm not mistaken. May the 4th be with you. And there are 4 versions of this available. This is the blue 6061 aluminum scale with Sandvik 14C28N steel. They do have 2 others with that steel and scale combo, different colorways. And they also have a 4th version that's olive drab green scales and Damascus steel for the blade. Again, this is a pretty minimalist design, which I'm quite a big fan of minimalist designs on knives. There doesn't need to be anything too fancy about it. It is supposed to be a knife. It features, like quite a few other Civivi knives, caged ball bearing pivots. And the button lock with that gives it some great fidget factor. As you can see here, I can't stop fidgeting it. I'll cut that out, though. I would say this is great value for dollar. Again, Sandvik 14C28N steel and the 6061 aluminum scales coming in at $66.90 on Amazon. So great price point, not too high, not too low, just above that $50 price range, and I think it's really worth it. I'll compare it to a few other knives here. One that I like to compare it to is the Spyderco Delica 4. I know that's one of Nick Shabazz's favorite to compare it to, and I would say for this instance, they have a very similar slicey feel to them. If you watch the Civivi video on their YouTube of their rollout, they talk about the slicey feel a lot. Dicey. So I would say that this has that. The Delica 4's blade is just a little bit thinner than the Qubits, but they both have that very sleek feel, very lightweight. And the FRN with the Delica 4, I believe this knife weighs just a little bit less. This one comes in at, let's see, 2.8 ounces, and I'll do a full spec review in a little bit, but this is 2.82 ounces, and the Delica 4 is, let's see, 2.5 ounces. So this is a little bit less, but with the 6061 aluminum scales, I mean, this is so much more solid of a feel of knife, and it's probably that much more of a solid build, too. I could probably throw this at you and hurt you quite a bit more than any other of these reinforced nylon knives, FRN, Grivery, whatever they want to call it. And here, let's just do another comparison to a few others. I'll do the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight, Para 3 G10. We'll throw another Civivi out there. And let's see how those all look together. Not bad. And just for giggles, let's throw the Lander on there too. Not a bad lineup. You can kind of compare all the different blade lengths and thicknesses and all that good stuff. You can't really see the blade width or the actual knife width itself, but these are all kind of that 3-inch, just under 3-inch. All of these, I think, are just right at that 3-inch point. This one, I think, is like 2.7 inches. Don't quote me on that. I'll give you, again, I'll give you the full specs of the Qubit just a little bit later. The other thing that this knife offers that's kind of cute, and I don't know if cute's the right word. I don't know if you want to tell a dude his knife's cute, but it does have a little bottle opener on there. So if you're feeling fancy and you're very careful because you don't want to be consuming too many of those bad boys and opening knives, or maybe you're just having yourself a cream soda or a root beer. But yeah, kind of cool to have a bottle opener or church key right on your knife. Nice spot for it. I'm sure everybody's got it on other spots on their keys or their multi-tool or other things, but not a bad spot to have it. The ergonomics on this is very nice too. As I've said in the past, I've got very big hands, and I could fit on the scales, no problem, not having to lose my pinky dropping off or anything. And there is kind of this faux fake finger choil thing right here, so if you needed to choke up a little bit, you could, but it is very close to the blade that from factory is rather sharp, so be careful doing that. This knife does have a couple of cons, and this one isn't totally a con, but it is a plain design. Some people don't like plain designs. I'm a big fan of it, so very straightforward, nothing crazy about it, nothing you're going to write home about, but if someone asked to borrow a knife, they'd get this from you. They'd say you met the expectations spot on. The pocket clip is another thing I'm not a big fan of. The opposite side, there's nothing in the little recess, and you only get one screw, so I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but just aesthetically, it kind of loses some value. If they were to do it similar to how they do on the NAFSCO Lander, where they send you an insert and the extra screw, it just looks that much better. And the other thing is, even though this scales are made of 6061 aluminum and are that much stronger, I will say the lack of texturing on them, I don't know, it just is a little less grippy. I mean, they're solid. It doesn't feel like it's going to slip out of my hands or anything, but it does feel a little less grippy than the textured Grivery, FRN textured fiber reinforced nylon and or the G10 scales. Okay, let's go over those specs I was talking about. Overall length of this knife is 7.19 inches. Blade length is 2.98 inches. The actual cutting edge on it is 2.7 inches. Blade width 1.24 inches. Blade thickness 0.1 inch. Handle length is 4.21 inches. Handle width is 1 inch. Handle thickness is 0.42 inches. Again, the scales are 6061 aluminum. The weight is about 2.82 ounces. And you can put this in a right or left-handed carry, but it is tip-up only. Cage ball bearing pivots, button lockup, Sandvik 14C28N steel, 57 to 58 hardness rating. It's a drop point design with a flat grind, and this is the satin finish with the blue aluminum scales. And it's just a regular old plain edge, no serrations or anything like that. If you were to ask me if I was to get this knife again, sure. I'm not jumping to buy another colorway of it. I feel like having one copy of it's good enough while I have like 7 different versions of the Para 3. But I'm sure I'll end up buying another one, and I'm sure they'll probably end up putting out some other revisions and colorways where I can't say no. And I'm sure if they put out like a Desert Warrior or something, I'll end up getting that. Regardless, if you're looking for a relatively straightforward knife and with a little nice bottle opener on it, button lock fidget factor, this one hits all the check boxes. I'd recommend grabbing it. I do have an affiliate link below, and as always, I get a 4% kickback. So thank you. Please use that link if you can, and carry on.